Is it that time?
Good morning.
Is it Thursday again?
That it is.
Oh, look at, we are all smiles today. Oh, Rocket was saying that recently too. He's like, all the time that you guys are in smiles, like Alan or you or Sky, everyone's like in these pictures. I'm like, I didn't even notice, like, that's how smiley that we are.
Because we're happy.
Yeah, because we're happy. Hey,
And grateful.
Thank you all for joining us here. We're just getting fired up. We're letting a few more people get on. So we've got some desert dwellers going on in the background. If it's too loud, let us know. I don't have headphones on today because we've got two people. And as you know, the Live Beyond Default Livestream is just like super raw, right? We've got a camera, we've got a mic, and it's like old school Beastie Boys style here, okay? I mean, that's it. We're just all with the heart and we're all with the love, and we're super excited to be here. So thank you all for joining us and coming on. We've got lots of people on YouTube, which we appreciate. Of course, Facebook, and my favorite platform, LinkedIn. You know, I've noticed that since I've come back from California about a month ago, I haven't been on like TikTok or Instagram as much, and I kind of like it. Like not being on it as much. Yeah,
Social media as much.
I kind of feel like you know, you get caught in that derping mode, and you get caught in that, and especially with like a TikTok or an Instagram, it's so easy just to sit there, and then all of a sudden it's like 10 minutes later and you're like, what did I just do? Right? And sure, I'm watching some good things, like maybe some Joe Rogan clips or some Jordan Peterson clips or Andrew Huberman clips, right? I'm seeing some cool things, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my, where'd that 15 minutes go?
Right. It's like that healthy balance of like staying connected with people and seeing what's going on, but at the same time not getting like totally engrossed in it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
yeah,
20 minutes has gone by.
Makes a big deal. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference. All right, we got Chris on. Thank you for joining us. Chris is a big fan of the show. She's on a lot, and I think Chris actually connected with Annette Lasitra.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she was, yeah, that's awesome, right? She's another one that's smiling all the time. It's so funny. Lilian, good to see you. Yeah, we don't have to be on every social media platform. I know at times that I will not see certain events because I'm not on Facebook a lot. Did the Facebook algorithm just pick up that I just said that? The point is, like, yeah, pick a platform that you're comfortable with and that you like. And that's what I did. Gary Vee says, study a platform for 30 hours and then dive into it. And mine was just LinkedIn, and that's what I chose. So when people ask me, yeah, you're really good on LinkedIn and you're all over the place, I'm like, it's just because I really chose that one to focus on.
Totally. I heard the same thing. Like pick two. I mean, obviously there's so many,
Yeah.
but I heard like pick two and focus on those two. And right, otherwise you'll just get in a spiral. And it's,
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Beth Edwards,
Hey.
super cool. Hey,
Thanks for
Jim
joining.
Instein, good to see you, brother.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mark. Mark saying they need a good platform to engage all social media platforms at once and keep track of those interactions.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark.
Yeah.
So a lot of those, like, social media platforms recognize that you're using a system to post. And then what happens is you're very limited.
Yes.
You can't do as much. So really, I personally think the best
Hey,
thing,
Mark.
this is just, okay, this is just my opinion, is the best thing to do is like always outsource what you can't do very well and what's important to you. So for me, I have social media Sarah. She helps me out and she does a great job, right? Now
Yes.
she's freelancing for other people too, but she knows my vibe. She knows who I am. We come up with a content calendar. She posts on some platforms, I post on others, and it just works. And yeah, it costs money, but more importantly, what does your time
work.
focus, and energy, right? Time, focus, and energy. What is that costing you? Where you could be out selling, you could be out sharing,
Yeah.
inspiring. right? Encouraging others to live beyond default. Oh, we said it. Mark, thanks for joining us. Rick is on. What's up?
Rick. Thank you, Leah, from New York.
Leah, yeah.
Thank you for joining me.
Oh, Michelle Epperson says rock stars. Hey, talk about coming from the she is, Michelle.
No,
oh, she's amazing. So Michelle is she inspires me with what she does on a daily or monthly basis. She's challenging herself with a lot of different, I'm going to read 10 pages. I'm going to do this. She's sharing with other people, but then at the same time, like she was Blackhawks ice crew, right? Something else she was doing. You know what, Michelle? I don't even remember everything you've done, but what I know is she's like a super personal development nerd like we are.
Awesome.
And she doesn't just like woo-woo and talk about personal development. She lives it. She's actually doing it.
Right.
And that's the cool thing, right? Because in this world, we could all get kind of wrapped up in like, oh, this reading and this process. And it's like, are you landing the plane on anything? And I've had to say that to myself a lot.
Sure.
Like, am I actually landing the plane? GSD, right? Getting things done. So, we got Teresa, super cool. Tom Levin, good to see you. Maximize your time, right? Yeah.
Totally.
Super cool just to outsource. Like, we can't do everything. And we want to. And it's hard for us to let go as leaders, too.
I call it staying in your zone of genius, right? Like, this is what I'm best at doing, and I'm totally about outsourcing everything else, because that's truly how you'll grow. That's how you'll make that impact. So like you said, yes, sometimes it costs money, but it's like, what's your time and what's your energy worth, and what's the impact that you want to make? So,
yeah, tweet that, social media, Sarah. We're already tweeting things, and it's like 7 minutes in. Okay, we got Gina on there too. I think we are ready to go. So Carolyn is going to start with our open reading. Let me turn off the music. Very good. Make sure we're loud enough to everybody. All right, Carolyn, you want to start us off?
I will. Okay. So the gentlest thing in the world overcomes the hardest thing in the world. That which has no substance enters where there is no space. This shows the value of non-action. Teaching without words, performing without actions, that's the master's way.
And that's our way.
Totally. It's very, very vision project way, very work smarter, not harder. So that's like, you can still land the plane, but sometimes we get too into the action and the doing, and we're not in the being.
And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream. It's your weekly dose of personal growth, and it's episode number 49. My name is Dave, and this is Carolyn, and today we are talking about the power of vision. And we have an expert. I don't like to use the word expert, right? The master. The cool thing
master
about
manifester.
Right? The master manifester. I like that. Like, one thing I learned about mastery is being a master, you recognize you never really become a master. That's the gold of it. That's the game of it, right? It's like being in the game, being in the trenches. That's the gift of the whole thing. Absolutely. So again, thank you for joining us. You're going to love the shares. You're going to love the community, and you're going to love the takeaways that you get from Live Beyond Default Livestream. And as I love to ask every time that we go live, has your week been epic so far? And if it hasn't, you know what? It's time to level it up and take responsibility for your thoughts, your words, and your actions, and not blame anything else that's going on in the world for what you have or you don't have. Nothing has to do with the economy. It doesn't have to do with the president or Bitcoin or gas prices or the housing market, right? Everything that we have or don't have is because of what we've done, and we want to take responsibility for that. And then that's when we could start leveling up our energy and make the week epic and make it epic for others. So let's start today.
Love it. Well said.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we got a lot of people on. Super appreciate you all being here. Laura's a first-time listener. Hi, guys. Yeah, hey. I see Laura on LinkedIn a lot. Thank you so much. So let's start with this. Gratitude. We always begin with gratitude. So I challenge you all in the comments to share. Put down 3 things that you're grateful for. It could be a who, it could be a what, It could be a why. And if you have one or two things, that's cool too. But throw them in the chat. Let's get some love going on here.
Love that.
So what are you grateful for today?
Like, that is amazing. That's how I start my daily practice too. It's thinking of Vision Project way, 3 specific gratitudes of something that I'm grateful for from the day before, because it really helps me connect with that feeling. So it's not, and again, I'm grateful for so much. I mean, like health and family and all, and love and all of that. But it's like, what moment in my day was I grateful for? And when I do that, and it's a part of my practice, I find that throughout the day, I'm constantly like, oh, that's an amazing cloud in the sky. Like I'm constantly feeling grateful. So, so I was actually, so my 3 gratitudes, I'm grateful for a wonderful conversation I had with my buddy, John, on the car ride here, for a awesome meditation practice this morning, and for the support from my husband. So those are my 3 gratitudes today.
I love that. So let's see. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for, I have this delicious water that's delivered to my home twice a month. It's called Mountain Valley Spring, and that's not an ad. It's just, I thought about it because the water's so good. And I'm super grateful to have like great water just every single day, so I can get my 96 ounces. You know, I'm all about 16 ounces a day.
Oh yeah.
When you wake up,
yes, we know.
gotta keep tying into that. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my willingness to dive into the light that I have and how I can serve others, and also the willingness to dive into the dark that I have and recognize that the dark's okay. And we want to know what's out there and what's inside here, and just really nurturing it and coming from a good place. And lastly, it's all about the community, right? It's like the people that love me and challenge me, and especially like poke me. And I've had that recently too. Again, like, hey, Dave, you know, Alan Stern just pointed out something recently about a month or so ago when we were all together. He's like, you know, Dave, do you think when we were all together, there was something that was maybe off that you did? He goes, and I'm coming from a good place. I'm like, huh. And I reflected back on something that like I did in front of everybody. And it's not that it was like super inappropriate, but it was a little below the line and it could have been a little better. And I said, yeah, man, I really appreciate that. Like you said something to me, right? Like sometimes I'm in my head or I don't know things, but friends and people that love you, like they'll call you out if you're kind of a little bit off or you said something or you're kind of doing something like, hey, we know like you're coming from a good place, but maybe next time you just don't want to do that. It's like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate you telling me that. So I've got people in my life that do that to me and I just love it.
That's amazing. And it's basically, it's where you're coming from, like the intention, right? So he was coming from a loving place and it's like shining that light, that's area that you may not see, right? And like that's a great leader. That's a great leader. And that's a great friend to care enough to share with someone that they care about, you know, shine that spotlight on an area that they may be unaware of, right?
Shine the spotlight. I love that. All right. So Michelle says, what inspired the beard? Oh, I went to California for a achievement immersion a little over a month ago. And when I came back, I made the decision, I'm not going to shave. That was literally what it was. So I'm giving it a try for a couple months to see what happens. It's a little scruffy. It's a little white and dark. It's kind of a cool mixture and we'll see, but I don't know if I'm a beard guy. It's kind of odd.
Trying it out. It's all good. It's
so
all
we'll
good.
See. And love the blue flower jacket.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Michelle,
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
So Michelle is grateful for her health today. Also thankful for great friendships and growth at work. Love that. Chris is grateful for life, family, and vacation. She loves working in healthcare. Love it. Thanks, Chris. Rick is grateful for opportunity. Linda is grateful for being alive, hanging out with my boyfriend, and awareness of self-love. Ooh. So that's Lita, right?
Yes.
Lita.
Love you, Lita. I said yes.
Oh,
yes.
So Lita, you hit a beautiful spot right there, saying your awareness of self-love. How often do we love others and then we poop on ourselves, right? It happens. And it's like, why do we do that? It's so weird. I don't get why we do that. If it's like a childhood thing, whatever it is, but thank you for bringing that up because sometimes I'm challenged of being aware of self-love. So Lita, thank you.
And that's kind of like, so going like to vision, like you just having that awareness and that vision of what you want in life, like having a vision of who you want to be and what do you get to add to be that person. But without vision, like you won't be able to become that or be the person you want to be, do the things that you want to do and have the things that you want to have and give the things you want to give. So it all starts really, Dave, with a vision, right?
It all, she's poking. Doesn't it always start with a vision, Dave? I love it. I love it. So let's keep going. We have a lot of shares here and it's great. Thank you. If you're just joining us, this is episode 49 of Live Beyond Default Livestream, your weekly growth dose of personal growth. Maybe you're driving in the car and it's in the background. Maybe you're at work and there's a little tab up there and you kind of have it down so the boss doesn't see. Or maybe you're just doing something around the home or you're on the exercise bike, watching or listening. Thank you so much, whether it's live or the replay. Please share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get the word out. We are a community and we are growing and it's all about the love and challenging each other to be better. So John says after a long day in Indy and getting home at 1, he's grateful he has an amazing wife to come home to and get a good night's sleep in bed. So simple.
Right?
Love it.
And it's finding gratitude and simplicity is amazing.
Thanks for saying that, John. Beth says, grateful for a quick healing, my loving husband, and hope in important relationships. Quick healing. Beth, that's important. And what I love about what you said there is we have come about in a world where it's almost like instant gratification, right? I can order something. It's at my doorstep in 3 hours.
Sure.
Right? I have a question about something. I can Google it. I want to learn the top 10 things about this or this and that. I throw it in Chat GPT and it spits it out. Done. Grateful for quick healing. Our bodies take time to heal and it's still amazing how well they do work. I was sick for like 2.5 weeks after coming back from California.
I remember. Yeah.
And even at that point, I was like, why is this taking so long? I'm like, this is not me. It's usually 3 or 4 days. And I kept tapping into it and thinking, you know what? My body is fighting it. Whatever it is, something hit me hard and it's doing a good job. So yes,
it was forcing you to slow down and take it easy.
I think that's what it was.
Focus on your self-care.
I think that's what it was.
Yep.
Dawn says, good morning. Thank you.
Dawn.
John says a little, sure. Million, it's working for you. Yes, thank you. The beard, I'm thinking that's on the beard. The beard is working out. Thank you. I appreciate that, Million. Okay, so now we have, Teresa Schultz. Yay.
My sister.
Yeah, having a conversation with my daughter to lift her up when she was having a rough day yesterday. Look at you. I love that. Thanks, Teresa.
Yeah.
Lita, thank you. Chris, totally do that. Rick says, grateful for an amazing wife. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Rick is a lucky guy, isn't he? Oh, my. Laura says, I'm grateful for having good mental, physical, and emotional health. Yeah, that emotional health.
Yes, that is huge. Yeah.
You know, we're part of the National Hispanic Suicide Prevention Network. A lot of us during the pandemic in 2020, the reset button, boom. A lot of us thrived. I changed my career. I self-reflected, and a lot of us had a really hard time.
Yep, I agreed.
And I honor that. And mental health and emotional health, like that's top of notch right now in my book, right? Just being aware of what's going on in your mind, how you're feeling, and being aware of others. Like you never know where anybody's come from. Does that make sense?
Yep, right. So before you judge and you come up with a story in your head, you have no idea. If someone snaps at you or something, like it may have nothing to do, it probably has nothing to do with you. It's what's going on internally with them. Yeah. So having that compassion and non-judgment and actually seeing if there's a place that you can help, right? Like come from a place of service.
Look at that. Making it all about them and not about you, right? Love it. All right, we got a few more shares here. Dawn says, I'm grateful for like-minded people. Yeah, Dawn's great.
Yeah.
A fellow collaborative realtor in my world. Thank you, Dawn. You're awesome. Mark says unwavering determination, focus on discipline, and a healthy fitness and
Ooh.
diet. Yeah, I like that.
Mark's got his vision and his goals down. I love it.
The focus on discipline. I like that. I just
Yeah.
read Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, which was super great.
Love. Yeah.
Milian says, yes, I'm feared. Okay. Thank you, Milian. Love it. All right. So we have Carolyn Litton on here, who is the founder of the Vision Project. And I met Carolyn, was it at Engaging Speakers?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was at Engaging Speakers. And, you know, I didn't know who she was. I'm just rolling up to people and saying hi. I have no idea who anybody is. I always call them, people aren't strangers, they're future friends of mine. And this person right here became more than a future friend. We're in this group about surrounding ourselves with people. And then I saw her at the next meeting. And then I recognized that there were other people in this group, Engaging Speakers, that I aligned with, like Alan and Scotty. Then Amy came along. It was like all these people started coming around. But Carolyn, there was something about her besides her awesome hair. There was something about her. Yeah. There was something about her that I was super attracted to. And I don't know, like, there was a vibe and there was something like a spark in her eye. And it was like, I felt like I was being raised up. I felt like I was being leveled up just by being around her and talking to her. So from then on, I think we met first time at the office in Arlington Heights.
Here, I came here.
Yeah, you came here. And so Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And it's an honor to be on here. So thank you, Dave.
Yeah, you have been an inspiration and you've poked and you've gotten things like poke, right? When we're playing small, you've brought up ideas where we're just like, ooh, what is that? Or oh, sure, Carolyn. Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that, right? So tell us a little bit about how you came up with the Vision Project, really wherever you want to start, right? Like this is about you. And it's about the audience. We really want to connect with the audience and discuss vision and challenge the audience, right?
100%.
To start visualizing and start manifesting and then start landing the plane on things. And that's really what it's all about. We want to challenge the audience. We want to learn about you. So tell us about you, how you started with the Vision Project, and how you get that hair to look so great every single day.
Oh, geez, thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
So, so it actually started because I didn't have a vision for my, like a clear vision. And I just want to let people know that that's okay. And I'm just curious, how many of you are there right now or have been there where you're like, you know, life is good. And I did have a great life. And I'm like, life is good, but there's something more. There's something more out there. There's something more I'm meant to do or something bigger I'm meant to be, or there's just something. How many of you, if you can, just put in the chat, how many people have ever felt that way in their life?
Carolyn, would you tell us what is a vision either?
Okay.
Like what is a vision? I'm looking at that wall. Is that a vision? I mean, tell us like what the definition to you.
To me, it's the vision for life was who I wanted to, I had mentioned this earlier, like who I want to be as a person. What do I want to do with my life? What do I want to have? What's the impact I want to make? And what do I want to give? That is what it came down to. And it's like, I never took the time to stop and think about it. So if you don't take the time to stop and think about it, that was me. And it's like, how are you going to turn any of those things into reality? How do you live that life when you haven't given the time to think about what you really, really want?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my journey started. So back in 2018.
So 5 years
just to
ago.
put like a little time reference. Right? Yeah. So 5 years ago.
Pre-pandemic. PC.
Yes. I will say, I was, so loved my career, was very like successful in my career as a loan officer. And I was blessed and grateful to work with so many amazing clients and partners. And it was amazing. And I had always wanted to do a vision board, but I was part of this mastermind, like the mastermind, right? So I was part of this mastermind class, and I was challenged to make a vision board. I'm like, ooh, I've always wanted to do this. But again, it's like being intentional and actually taking the time to do it. It's one thing to say you want to do it and figure out what you want in life, but it's another thing to actually sit down and think about it and do it. And that's what I want to inspire and encourage all of you to do. So by taking that time, I actually wrote my vision board. Should I show it?
Yeah, show that. Okay. So Carolyn starts off in 2018.
So this is my first vision board in 2018. So I just want to put it up there, and it
how about I hold it while you talk?
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
So it was cool. I started feeling like excited, like what do I want? And it's so cool. So this is before Vision Project. This is before I met it. This is before all of this.
Yeah.
And where I was in my life, the most important things for me was this one right here, this work smarter, not harder. I had been at a stage in my career where I was just working so many hours, and though I loved what I did and I love helping people, it was, I mean, I sacrificed time with myself, my husband, and it was a lot. So I was just like, I desperately wanted to figure out how to work smarter, not harder. And I also had this, I don't know what you want, like just this tugging at my heartstrings to help the homeless. So I put that up here, and I guess I've always wanted to inspire people, like that was up there. So those were kind of, and I've always wanted to go to Italy. So those were kind of, I mean, I have other things, marathons, family, success. I have a bunch of stuff on here, but what happened and what I found was, within 1 year, not even kidding you, Dave, like
I'm listening over here.
Thank you. I had literally, like I had almost doubled my business and cut my hours significantly. Boom. The power of that. I took this idea, and through support of people in the mastermind and the broker owner of the real estate office, he's like, Carolyn, you should like do something with that. You can like turn it into a charity. You could pack here. Dave, like literally became a 501c3. Hearts for Hope came from an idea, a vision. Yeah. And when you put it down and you see it, and you share it with people, and you surround yourself with people who are there, like who uplift you and support you, like it's amazing what can become realized. Yeah. And then I started inspiring people. Like it was so cool. And actually, like I mentioned, I wanted to go to Italy. I love Italy. It's like one of my faves. I was in Italy later that year. Like it happened. Like actually booked tickets. It just stuff started coming to fruition, and it was just taking the time to stop, figure out what I want. And again, like, so building this vision board was super helpful. I'm like, how the heck does this work? Yeah. I'm like, it must be the power of the subconscious at its best, reticular activating system, whatever. I didn't care. I was just like, boom, this works. This is awesome. So this became actually the foundation of the vision project. It's like, okay, you know, what do you want? How do you make that happen? So actually, if you want it, you can put it down. But
wow, I got a couple questions now, Carolyn.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's
so
all about her, huh?
What is it?
Love
What's
it.
your question?
Easy. So it says Oscars on there. What's that?
Oh, I have always wanted to go to the Oscars. So I am fortunate and so grateful to have gone to the Grammys 3 times.
Oh.
So why not the Oscars? So that's on there.
Look at that. And did you just find these pictures and that just like in magazines and stuff, or print them out online, or?
Great question. Yeah. So my part of how I recommend making a vision board is I'm not really for the magazine cutting. I want it to be as customized to what you want as possible. So I do an internet search, because if you obviously click on anything, any subject on the internet, you'll have like a million images. So I will go and I'll pick the image that really elicits like the most emotion and really like brings that out. So that's how I do it. So I suggest going online to, you know, like search for an image and then print that out.
Love it. Love it. Well, there's a lot on here. Yeah. And I like how, number one, the mastermind that you were in encouraged you to do that. Yeah. I like grateful that you recognize that, not that you were in a bad place, and sometimes we are, but you just were maybe not aligned, and you knew there was something more.
Exactly.
You decided to step into something that's not comfortable, right? Like that is so important. Getting out of that shell, getting out, going into that new future self now, and being okay with being uncomfortable with that, and taking the time, investing the time in yourself to actually think about what you want to do, what do you want to have, what don't you want to have, who do you want to be with.
Yes.
We talked about that on the last episode about what does your perfect day look like.
Love that.
What is your perfect day look like? And this goes along with that. And if we're not actually visualizing it and thinking about it, it's never going to happen, right? Where thoughts go, energy flows. How's that go?
Yeah, where your focus goes, your energy flows.
Yes,
I think.
Yes,
Something
and that's important to remember for all of us. And we get challenged throughout the day. You know, you've got 3 kids. You're going to school and you're working. You're doing all these things. It's like, how do we find time during the day to do this? Well, we talk about that too. There's plenty of time. We have 168 hours in the week. Carve out, I challenge, carve out 10, 15 minutes in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. You've got the time to do that, right? If Elon Musk has the time, we have the time.
Totally.
It's there.
For what for me, it was being super intentional and commitment and focus. It's like, okay, if I'm intentional, I can absolutely find 10 minutes a day, and it's making that a priority. That's how then I manifested so much. And that's my first vision board. I'm on like vision board like 4.0 or like, you know. So, but like really that's how then I brought it to life. It's through that. It starts with the vision. You have the vision first, but it's through the daily practices, through the commitment, through that. That's how it becomes realized. And the cool thing is, and I always go back, it's my favorite mantra, seriously, the work smarter, not harder. What I've accomplished, I'm so grateful to say, like, it wasn't, I can't say it was hard work because it was just my commitment to show up every day. And because it's my passion and it's something that I love to do, it doesn't feel like work. So like break the mold, right? Like, okay, so I had a vision of being a speaker. So every day I'm super disciplined. You know, I do my meditations, I do like visualizations, and I would picture myself on this big stage. And I just would. And I'm like, I pictured me talking about the vision project because I know this is so life-changing. And I'm like, gosh, I can, you know, that's my why. I can impact lives. And it just really got me super excited. So I would do this, you know, and in the meantime, you know, I had made a shift in my career. So I had more time to focus on getting the vision project out there. But I didn't know exactly how. I didn't know, you know, I didn't know all the steps. I knew my vision and I knew why I wanted it. And I am so grateful how like the right opportunities and the right people have come into my life at just the right time. It's like the universe, God will orchestrate that to support you.
Love that.
Just have that vision. Find out what that fire is in your heart and take the time and write it down and actually build a vision board. I encourage you to do that and watch. Just watch.
I love that.
How much unfolds. It's amazing.
I love that. So luck is preparation meets opportunity.
Yep, Seneca. Love it.
You create your own luck. And the other thing is, you didn't know what the steps were.
Right.
Right? So I have a saying that I took from somebody, whatever it is, steal like an artist. It's called ready, fire, aim. And what that means is, I don't know what I'm doing on a lot of things either. You know what, though? I'm doing it.
Yes.
And what I didn't do, if I don't know the steps, that's another like personal development, like spin out realm that we can get in. We're like reading all these books. There's all these things that are like teaching us and showing us how to do things, but we're never really doing one of them. Yeah. And doing one of them is actually doing it wrong, failing forward. And it's not really a failure, but that's the way to do it. And that's the way you're going to learn about it. And then not getting on yourself if it's a mistake, and then using it as a data point. Because now you have a data point to step up to the next level. But if you don't take the first step, it's just not going to happen. Well, what's the first step? Action's always the answer. Just go.
Agreed.
Go. Agreed. It doesn't matter. Figure it out. Like, it's not right. Everything's been done almost. Okay.
It's that fear of failure that will prevent you from even getting started. So that's your point of the ready, fire, aim. Like, just go for it. Doing imperfect action is better than doing no action at all. And as you keep taking action, you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I need to pivot a little bit. Do you know how many times I failed in the course of my journey? But I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I learned something from that. And not to say that it doesn't sting. Of course it does.
Hurts.
But when you have that vision,
yeah,
and that's what keeps me going. And
love it.
It starts with that. And then again, it's the daily practices and other things that can help you get there.
Yeah.
But really, truly, that the power of the vision. So as I mentioned about like always wanting to be a speaker, or recently in my life, I went from this being literally an idea to fast forward having an inspired, like having inspiration to create my own stage, running it past some really cool people who I met, and forming this mastermind. And I'm like, hey guys, what would this look like?
I remember that. It was so funny when Carolyn, Dave, I have this great idea. Cool. How about we get this group together of all of us? She starts naming people. Yeah. And we get this mastermind group together. We start talking about speaking, and then we make this event. We have this big, And when Carolyn started talking about our mastermind group, it got formed. When Carolyn brought up Break the Mold, I remember like Alan being like, oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, okay, cool. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this big speaking event with all of us on stage. And I remember saying the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cute. Cool. Great idea, Miss Vision. All right. I'm going back to what I'm doing now. Right. And that's just the ego.
Sure.
Like that's just the ego.
Like, how's this gonna, because then you get into the how. Immediately you go, how's this gonna happen? How's this gonna work? But when you have that vision and focus on what are the possibilities, and you really, honestly, I had to stop taking life too seriously. Like, have fun with it. Like, okay, cool. Well, what would that look like? Is that possible? Okay, maybe I can find a place. Cool. Like, and just having that vision, and again, just realizing possibilities.
And there's something that's really important with that too. Now, we get this mastermind group together, and here Carolyn comes up with this idea of having this event where we're on stage, and we're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. Okay. The next meeting we had, Carolyn says, okay, let's pick the date that we're going to do this. And we all looked at each other like, oh, I guess this is serious.
I think she's kind of serious.
And I saw it happen right in front of my eyes. So when Carolyn talks about the Vision Project, it's happening. She's doing it. Like, I watched it happen with our mastermind group. I'm part of it. I watched it happen with Break the Mold. I was on stage with lights hitting me and 100 people in the audience, and I can't see anybody else. And I kept thinking to myself, right, I'm talking, but there's also like, I can almost like step out of myself.
Like, it's almost out of body.
Yeah. And I'm looking going, I love having these lights on me. This feels so comfortable. The heat, I can't see anything, but more importantly, I'm sharing and inspiring others. This is like the greatest feeling ever. And it's because of Carolyn. Now, how did I manifest that? Well, preparation meets opportunity. Got back into the speaking realm, which I love speaking, and I've loved it since my degree in college of public speaking and interpersonal communication. It's kind of funny, but I haven't done it for a while. But surrounding yourself with the right people, and that's another thing too. Carolyn is not me, and I am not her. We're different, right? Same thing with Alan or Scotty.
We bring different skills to the table. We bring different,
And that's the point too. Like, don't surround yourself with, I'm saying this out of love.
Yeah.
Don't surround yourself with a bunch of yous.
Right.
Sure, you all have a vision,
like,
and you all want to grow.
Like-hearted, like-minded, like all going for the same vision, but have obviously different personalities, different strengths. Surrounding yourself with people of different strengths. And I will say, like, it was a blast doing Break the Mold. And it's like, I wasn't meant to do that on my own. It brought me so much joy, and it was so fun to work with the team, with the Break the Mold speakers. And like, what a sense of like just gratitude to see my friends and my colleagues on that stage too. I'm like, gosh, that's what it's all about. It's not just me achieving my dream. It's supporting and uplifting each other. And was amazing.
Boom. Tweet that, social media, Sarah. I love that. And if you know me, I call that collaborating with cool people. Yep. And when a few years ago, I used to say, well, I just want to hang out with the cool people, right? There's a lot of terms for it, right? But the point is, it's like the power of getting people together. You've got a visionary, you've got an engineer, you've got a salesperson, you've got a this, you've got a that. Totally. One person's more structured, one person is more on the creative side. But when you put it all together, it works. And we all had that vision, we all had that love, we all had that trust in each other. Yeah. And that I watched it happen. I'm part of it. And it's like because of things that Carolyn did and her vision since 2018 and what she's manifested, like I'm a part of it. And I am so blessed and so grateful for that. Oh, I want to share a few comments here. Yeah. If you're just hopping on, this is Live Beyond Default Livestream, episode number 49. It's your weekly dose of personal growth. This is Carolyn. I'm Dave. And we're super grateful that you're here. Subscribe, share. Let's build that community. And we're going to do great things like we already are. So Mark says, for sure, it's like how you maximize what you are put on this earth to do, yes. Not just to run through the motions. Yes. So I know, Mark, that was
awesome, Mark, for sure.
20 minutes ago when you dropped that in the comments. But yes, how you maximize what you are put on this earth to do. That is super important.
That's the secret of the working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
When you figure out what your superpower is and you know that because you're passionate about it, you feel like then it doesn't feel like work. And again, it's not saying it's super smooth every day, but
no, it's hard.
Right. But like it's different. It's very, very different when you can tap into that.
Yeah. Love that.
We're all, in my opinion, like we're all meant to be creators, right? So it's like, also giving yourself some grace to know that where you are now in life, to know that your vision may change. And as our desires expand and as we grow, right, as people, like our desires will expand too. So just know that we're just, pivot and like lean into it and just really tap into that creative source. Tap into your source, right? Tap into source. That is huge.
Yes. Jennifer, you rock, Carolyn. So inspirational. Yes, she is. And that says investing in ourselves is key. Yes, it is in that. And Chris is on here. I was talking about you earlier and how you and Chris connected. Visualize and believe it. All right. What's Mark say here? My 10, 15 minutes, one thing that has really helped me, reading before bed, not just for the growth and learning, but it reduces your cortisol level by over 60% for just 6 minutes of reading. I really like that. I never heard that stat. So reading for 10 to 15 minutes, and we talk about that.
And we talk about reading all the time.
And the evening practice.
Yeah.
Love this. Oh, you can see we're also, yeah.
I know, we're like all excited.
We're all getting excited.
We're geeking out on the development stuff, yeah.
Reading 15 minutes before bed is going to reduce your cortisol level by 60% for just 6 minutes of reading. So even if you don't like reading, just use it for sleep. And I'm not a reader. Tweet that, social media, Sarah. There's another one. Yes. Love that. Thank you. Let's keep going here. We got a lot more comments. Paperback only, not on screen. Yes, Mark.
Oh, correct.
Paperback.
The
blue light before you go to bed is the worst thing. And that says, yes, failure is just an opportunity to learn. Yes.
And I'm going to say one other thing about that. Like I heard on a podcast, someone had mentioned like, if you can have a do-over in life, what would it be? And the gentleman said, you know what? I wouldn't take any do-overs because every time I failed, I had learned something and I would not be the person that I am today. Wow. And to take that even one more level is when you can actually find gratitude in the failure or in the adversity, and you can actually be grateful for it, pretty much like this gentleman was. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said, he wouldn't have a do-over. That's profound. And if we can have that mindset, think of how much that'll serve us. Now that fear of failure has gone away. Now it's not failure. It's an opportunity.
Yes, as Carolyn says. Oh my, it's like nugs being dropped everywhere here. This is great. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I love it when you just tap into that. It was so funny too when you were talking about break the mold and what we were doing. I was just sitting here, just like looking at the camera and just being like, I was like in another world, because it's almost so surreal that even happened. So, Carolyn, you mentioned, you asked the audience, do you have a vision? Whether you're on live right now or whether you're watching the recording of this live stream, it's always housed for you to watch. Challenge people. How do we start tapping into our vision?
Awesome.
And how do we start, how do we start on that process?
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. I'll give you some great tips. So first is, in order to find the vision of what you want for your life, you have to tap into who you are. So if that sounds a little vague, I'll give you some examples of how you can do that. I recommended at Break the Mold to doing like a core value exercise. Like you can go online, and I think Brene Brown has like a list of great values and stuff.
Yes, she does. That's a great list.
Right?
Brene Brown's list is great. Just Google it.
Find out what you value. So that's a part of like who you want to be, right?
Yep.
So, and the thing is, like, it's not like, oh, do this exercise in 5 minutes, you're done. It's not about that. It's having awareness of, I am on a mission to find my vision. I'm in pursuit of my vision, and having that mindset and, looking into your values, going out for a walk, see what comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Listen to inspirational podcasts and things. See, like, that will get your mind thinking, what do I want? It's a process. It's a journey. And even though I completed my vision board, like I said, that was one, it was amazing. And then my vision has changed multiple times. And it's just, it keeps expanding, like involving more and more and more. And some things I've accomplished, and I want to take it to the next level. Some things, and here's another thing to let you know it's okay. So I wanted to run marathons like all over the world. And then it's like, oh, well, I kind of stopped that. And does that make me a failure, or does that make me someone who gives up? No, I have just different priorities now. So now I want to focus on impacting others and inspiring others and supporting. And like, that's where it is. And I still enjoy going for runs, but it's not on my radar right now. Will it be later? Maybe not. And either way, it's okay. So knowing that if you have a vision and it doesn't come to fruition, it doesn't make you a failure. You're totally okay to like shift. And don't beat yourself up over that, to pivot.
I like that. It's okay to change your mind.
Right.
It's okay to change your mind.
Right.
And that's the great thing about taking the action and making the decisions, because once you take that action intentionally,
right,
and maybe it's not the right path or it's not right for you, the sooner you take the action, the sooner you'll figure out that it's not right for you.
Right.
And then you just pivot. It's all good. You didn't make a life-changing decision where all of a sudden, like, everything's ruined. You pivot.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it comes down to really just staying connected to yourself, because then I'm like, well, what's the difference of giving up and abandoning your vision and shifting? And like, it's that, like, for example, the vision project, I was like, I know this can impact millions. And now I've changed it to hundreds of millions of lives. And it started out with, I'm going to write a book. Now you can shift the mechanics. You can shift how you get there.
Right.
So, and actually it's so funny because I dream big, right? So I'm like, I want a New York Times #1 bestseller. And that didn't happen. But within 1 year, I was in a compilation book that was an Amazon bestseller. And that fell in my lap because when you can easily start attracting things into your life, the opportunities and the people, like I mentioned, when you have that vision. And I just knew, you don't need to know all the steps, but just having that. And I was able to attract so many awesome opportunities. And all of you, I promise you, have the power to do this. Again, just like take that time and just be intentional and do a favor for yourself and reflect and think about what you want in life.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed.
Yeah. And we do have the power to do it.
Yeah.
Elena says, she knew about the screen time before bed, and there's a good alternative for that. Yeah, Mark, you brought up a great point. Chris says failure is the best educator. Love that. Laura, different priorities. I needed to hear this one. Yeah, Laura, we're all changing our priorities. Like every year, like for me, this year is releasing self-judgment while embracing my past and courageously creating a life of abundance. You constantly see me wear this shirt. There's a reason why I'm wearing this. It's not because I don't have any other clothes. It's because it's reminding me of my value.
It's like your vision board on your body.
It's like my vision board on my body. Abundance. As my picture fills, I can therefore fill others' pictures because I'm working on myself. I'm creating the life of abundance. And like Laura said here, different priorities. She needed to hear that one. Part of abundance for me, right? This is self-reflection for everybody. It's not abundance for everyone. For me, part of abundance is letting go of the things and getting rid of the people, places, things, media that aren't serving me. Right. It's getting rid of. So it's not, most of abundance is actually getting less. It's getting rid of things first and recognizing what's a distraction.
Yep.
Right? What's a shiny object? I love shiny objects. Love them. I also recognize they're a super distraction when so often what is aligned with us and our values, like Mark just put in the link here for Brene Brown,
awesome.
the resources.
Thanks for sharing, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So much of my values, it's right in front of me. But I see shiny objects. Oh, that's cool. It's right in front of me. It's right here. It's all good. And part of that too is, we got to bring it up. Social media, watching other people's lives.
Yes.
Right? Watching what other people are doing as opposed to paying attention to our own lives. Talking about TV, right? I just had this conversation with Rocket yesterday. We were talking about TV. I'm like, boy, it's been like 6 or 7 years since I had TV. And so many people still ask me, like, what do you do at night when you go home? And I don't watch TV. What do? I read, I meditate, I prep for the next day. I work on my real estate. I work on my speaking. And that's what I do. So I think in my head, I'm like, how do you have time to actually sit down and watch TV every single night? I'm not saying you got to get rid of your TVs. That was maybe extreme. I'm not saying never watch TV, right? I watch a couple movies a month. I watch a couple documentaries. I like watching clips or some classes and that on YouTube, right? But there's a recognized intentionality of what we're doing.
Yes.
And then what we talk about before, like a pattern break, right? Kind of like what Laura said here. Like, boom, sometimes you got to pattern break yourself and recognize that there are these things, distractions, whatever's going on in our lives. And boom, you got to like get rid of it and snap yourself out of it. And it's going to hurt. But after like 3, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, a week, you start like, I'm starting to see things differently.
Yeah.
I'm starting to notice that what's in my vision or on my vision board is actually
starting to come together.
It's starting to show up in front of me because I'm not derping watching whoever live their own life. Right.
Yeah. And
I'm challenged with it. Right.
Sure.
I'm challenging everybody. I'm challenged. I have to constantly pattern break myself every single day.
Sure. And there's all sorts of distractions and just, I don't know if anyone could relate to this, but I mean, obviously there's like TV and social media and stuff, but like sometimes work can be a distraction. For me, what made a difference in my work smarter, not harder, and got me to where I wanted to be in life is to realize sometimes I figure there's always more work to be done. At some point I had to say, okay, stop, right? Like you need to fill your cup so you can fill others' cups. And then that's where I'm like, okay, I turned inward and I started focusing on my self-development and self-care. And that's where the walk came in. And that's where the meditation came in. And it's like, well, I had to leave the office to do that. But guess what happened? Now I have a heightened sense of awareness. I've learned more things. I figured out how to get more work done in less time. But unless you're intentional and you say, I'm going to do this, it doesn't get done. And then I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have been grinding in the office for 2 more hours, or left, went on a walk and listened to a podcast and been happier and feel better and figure it out. And that's like, talk about pattern break. That it's when I actually started shifting my mindset and realizing that was the priority. That was my pattern break. And that's when I like had more visions. And then I'm like, okay, then I started manifesting. I know some people think it's woo, but manifesting is just creating, right? So then I actually had the tools to turn them into reality. Thus, Hearts for Hope, Break the Mold, and just so many other, I have so many other like ideas and irons in the fire. And I also want to provide an opportunity for other people to collaborate, because clearly you can see how powerful that is. So we are actually, the Litton Loan Group is actually starting a community walk. And I think you're going to be there
next week, right?
That's already the 26th. So my thought is, again, when you can go out for a walk and just let ideas free flow, you will meet so many people that like you don't even realize you have a shared vision or a shared passion for something. And it's just a very laid back way to like connect with nature, connect with people. And I figured if we can provide that opportunity, that would be amazing. So again, started as a vision. I'm going to give Rick total props for that. And he's like, hey, why don't we do this? And I'm like, awesome, let's do it. So then again, you get that inspired action. And then you put it out there and you attract the right people. And I'm so excited to see what's going to come of this. And I also have a very a heart for charity. So we're like, wait a minute, how can we make this even better? Well, for every person who comes, the Litton Loan Group, we're going to donate $5 per head to a different charity. So we're starting out with the Boys and Girls Club of Elgin. You know that we both are passionate. We're both ambassadors for the National Hispanic Suicide Prevention Network.
Yes, we are.
The homeless, Hearts for Hope. So again, it's just bringing people together and giving them an environment and opportunity to do what we're doing. So we'd love to have you join us.
And something I want to say that and how it's you said vision, it's not manifesting, it's what?
Well, manifesting is the same thing as creating, right?
Oh, yeah, manifesting.
So whether, like I said, I call it like it's manifestation, but it's the same thing. You are creating it, you are realizing it, you're making it come to fruition, and it's a beautiful thing. But it starts with the vision. Until you have the vision, you can't manifest it.
It starts with the vision. Recently, I was sharing. I thought this. I'm going to throw this in. I just thought about it. Recently, I was sharing with one of my real estate clients. Right, so I'm listing a home, and a lot to clean up, a lot to declutter, a lot to let go of, and a lot to prepare. Cleaners coming and clean the place. And I sat down with the woman, so kind. She was so great. And I explained to her what's really happening here. And now fast forward, she was checking in with me every day. Dave, I took care of this. Dave, I did this. Dave, I did this. And then when I met with her next, she said, Dave, you know how I got all this done? I said, no. How? I go, you worked at it. She goes, no. You said it was going to be hard. You said I wasn't going to feel like doing this. You said it was going to be emotional to let go. But I connected with the vision of our new home. You told me when it got hard to go through this process, and you poked and you challenged me and you set boundaries. But when you said, when it gets hard, think of the vision of going into the new home with you and your husband. She said, that's what it did it for me. I was like, amazing. This is so cool. And it's like, I kind of didn't even, when I was telling her that a week ago, like I wasn't even really thinking about it in that sense. It's just personal development, Dave, right?
It's like it comes natural to you. That's the more you embrace this, the more you live it, it just becomes natural and it becomes easier and easier. And then now you're just like, that's just what you do. That's how you roll. And that's how you keep manifesting.
That's how you roll.
Boom.
I love that. So what's funny is there's this movie called The Secret. I wanted to bring this up, right? Yes. It's like the big elephant in the room. I love it. But the movie Secret, the book The Secret, it's all great, right? Everyone's got their point of view. Here's what I want to say about the movie The Secret. And I think it's a great movie to watch. Like that's something to watch. That's good stuff is being put into the head, right? Into the subconscious. I completely agree. Where I challenge the movie and the book The Secret is they talk about the manifesting and the vision and all that, except they forgot to put in the part of how to actually do it.
So
like there's not a part 2, right? The part 2 is like we're not just umming all day staring at vision boards and trying to figure out and thinking, oh, this is going to come to me. You actually have to implement and be intentional and take action. And I think they left out a lot of all of that in that movie. So love the movie, all about watching that movie. I like to say, remember, the reason why Carolyn is where she is, or a lot of people, little steps, big steps, whatever it is it's a mix, right? And tell us about that mix of vision and then actually
manifest, like
what's that combination, right?
Sure. And actually it's so funny because you were talking about like that missing piece from The Secret,
and I think so.
And I studied the law of attraction like in depth, and I found really certain elements that help make it work. So that's part of why it's the Vision Project, manifestations. And it's also part of the reason why I chose this saying about sometimes, there is value in non-action. The point of that, it's not to never take action, right?
Yes.
The point of that is to be so aligned and so connected with who you are that you get these inspirations of the next thing to do. So, and then you take action on that. So when it was like, hey, let's do a speaking engagement, and that like, it feels like excitement. It feels like inspiration. You just like, I jump on it and I go. And then that's when you guys were like, okay, cool. And then like, and I keep acting on that inspired action. Now it's simple, but it's not easy. And how I get to that, how I stay in that place of alignment is through the daily practices of the Vision Project. So
that's it.
Boom. So I have to get with the secret.
That's the secret sauce. That's the secret right there.
Know how to actually, the missing element of the secret is the Vision Project.
That's the secret right there. That's the secret. You should do a Netflix special. I know.
Maybe that's how I'll get to the Oscars.
Like even like a half hour documentary.
I know. Oh, don't think the wheels aren't like there. I have so much in the works, and also in helping to empower other people.
Yeah.
Speaking's big on my voice too. So again, I also am executive chapter director of Engaging Speakers Schaumburg, which how awesome that opportunity presented itself.
I wonder how that happened.
When I just wanted, like, speaking was on my mind, and now I can help other people use their voices and make that impact and speak their way to more business. But I really am looking to expand opportunities for speakers. And there's so much in the works right now, but now I'm going to have to add that Netflix thing. I'm going to have to update my vision board.
See? That's where I'm poking, right?
Yeah,
like,
I love it.
What about this?
See, like, again, the power of collaboration.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on my mind, but then you have a friend and colleague and fellow masterminder, and like, thank you, Dave. And that's the power of, again, come out to our community walks, go for a walk and start talking to people and see what comes to mind and how you can support each other. It's awesome.
Yeah. Paulina says, love this. Lita says, beautiful. Thank you so much. Lita again says, goosebumps.
Oh,
Rick, Raceway Woods, Wednesday, April 26th from 9 a.m. entrance off of Huntley Road. Awesome. Mark says, how are you empowering, training others to help you with these projects? Any advice? Should we both answer that question?
Yeah, you go first.
Me? Oh, you go first.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, Mark. So for me, it's really sharing video of practices, challenges, and what I've done in my life, or what I'm actually doing at the time, and sharing others to live beyond default. And I like to use that term, right? It's creating a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. It's really challenging yourself to be better. It's making 5-year-old you and 105-year-old you proud. And the idea is that we're always expanding. We're here to grow. We're here to serve. We're here to love others. And we're here to keep, it's kind of like we owe rent to our creator to be our best every day. Even when things kind of suck, you can still be your best for that day. So for me, I like to share on video. I like to share with my real estate clients, like that story I brought up. And I like to share with others around me and challenge them. I run a mastermind group, and then I do coaching, a little bit on the sales side, a lot on the personal development side, really just sharing practices that are a part of what somebody else wants to do where they're struggling, because I've had a self-improvement movement for about 10 years now. And that's been my journey. So it doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that I'm better. Yeah, it does mean I'm better. You know what it means? It means I'm getting better for you than getting better than you.
Love that.
Right? I'm getting better for you. So that's how I share with people. And then, of course, like Carolyn said, besides vision, just like who you surround yourself with, listening to certain podcasts, reading books.
Sure.
I mean, that's really what it's all about. So how about you, Carolyn? What do you do to empower others on these projects?
Thank you. And the reason why I went second is because I was on a journey trying to figure that out still. So I started off with, the YouTube channel. I'm in a compilation book. I decided I want to speak. I did some coaching and some consulting. And I actually had to figure out whoa, what do I really want to do and what really lights me up? So speaking is really what truly lights me up.
Oh, I didn't add that.
But
thank you for saying that.
So that's where because I also feel like not only does it light me up, but I love the connection of being there with the audience. And I love that one to many. I still do some coaching. I'm actually almost finally in the final stages of my mobile app. So it's a way to help people just, to have everything condensed into one spot. So yes, I'm coaching. I'm actually part of a retreat in Barrington this coming June. So still working with people. Again, I'm passionate about getting out the message, but my number one way, I would say, is speaking. So
yeah, I love that. I didn't even say that. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's how we met.
And we're going to do more speaking. There's more to come, Dave. There is.
I love it. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode.
Thank you.
We've got some latecomers here.
Yay, Beth's going to be at the walk.
Beth's going to be there. Betsy, I hope you're feeling better. Thanks for coming in on the show. Betsy says, a beard? Yeah. Lots happened in the last 6 weeks, Betsy. Yeah. So good to see you on here. Thank you. And I'm going to use a quote from Gabby, the founder.
Love Gabby.
Gabby is the founder of the National Hispanic Suicide Prevention Network. And when she was on the Live Beyond Default Livestream a few months ago, she said to text someone today. And what you say to them is, I'm thinking about you. And that's it.
Awesome.
Just send somebody a random text. I'm thinking about you. You never know what's happening with people in their lives. And just that simple reach out and saying that to others could make all the difference, not only in their world, but the worlds around them. Any final thoughts?
No, other than just gratitude. I feel just a pure sense of gratitude, connection, and love. And thank you for providing this space and this opportunity.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Oh, we had a great time. So thank you again.
Thank you all for being here.
For joining us. Now, next time, we have some excitement coming up. I'm going to end off with some music here. Sure, we'll put this on. So next time, what are we doing? There we go.
It's all about having some fun and listening to some great people.
Yes, it is. Well, next time is the Live Beyond Default 50th live stream.
Awesome.
I don't know what we're doing yet. But Matt and other people have challenged me, we got to do something big. So I'm going to visualize and discuss this with Carolyn after the show now. And maybe she has some visions or ideas around this. We just want to say thank you so much for joining the show. And of course, share with others like this. We're always game on comments. Challenge us of how we can do better. That's all part of the community too. And as we like to say, until next time. I'm not going to even sing Make Your Great Week. Oh, I just said it. Thank you. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that. Thinking about my favorite text of time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that, Paulina. We'll get to that. after midnight. You know, it's like 8 in the morning. After midnight. All right. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.